I didn't expect for this to happen at this point in the offseason, but there's already doubt being thrown towards the combination of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, and Emmanuel Acho has some pretty choice words for Caleb Williams. We're going to talk about all that plus more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Listen, I expected all the doubt for the Chicago Bears, and even though I am a Chicago Bears fan through and through, I always try to understand when some doubt and some things come towards the team because if, in fairness, the Bears ain't proved nothing. They haven't shown nothing, right? But when you have something that says already, like you're some of the questions that are coming here. This question comes from Michael Tannenbaum, former NFL executive, which is crazy. Mike Tannenbaum, who says this: I am not convinced about Caleb Williams in Chicago. I worked with Ben Johnson in Miami, the new head coach of the Bears. He is going to be a rule-based, disciplined play caller coach. When you have 68 sacks, look, the Bears were not great in coaching, not great in personnel last year, but you have to bear some responsibility. He also had questions on if the combination of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, is that going to be a good fit? That's the first time I've ever heard somebody question if Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are going to be a good fit for one another, which, okay, granted, Caleb Williams, we've already said it before. He has some things that he absolutely needs to prove on. But in Ben Johnson, one thing that he does do is that he's already said it. He builds a system around the strengths of his players. Part of the whole purpose of going through training camp and OTAs and everything for a coach like Ben Johnson is to figure out how to fit the pieces together and how he needs to build his offensive playbook to help those pieces fit together. So to say on paper that, oh, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are going to be a bad fit, right? To say that, I think that that's just based off narrative. And again, I wonder how much of this narrative would have been around if it wasn't for the Caleb Williams article that came out in regards to his dad. It opened up the floodgates once again to negativity coming towards the Chicago Bears. And it is. I get it. Even if you believe and you have some questions about Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and the fit and whatever else, that's reasonable. But some of the things that we're starting to see come out from the media really just seems not only targeted, but so narrative-based that it just has to at some point be exposed, right? Like, I get it. When bad things happen, bad word of players comes out, typically that happens with everybody. That's part of, like I've said on many episodes leading into the last couple of days, that's part of being a quarterback at the NFL level. You got to take, you're going to get a unjust fare of the acclaim. You're going to get an unjust fare of the criticism as well. It happens with the NFL, with every NFL quarterback. This isn't unique to Caleb Williams, but to also throw Ben Johnson into that mix. Now, he talked glowingly, positively about Ben Johnson, make no mistake about it, but to acknowledge at the end of it and throw it in there like, yeah, well, there were some coaching issues in Chicago last year. There were some coaching issues in Chicago last year. Not only the some coaching issues, but the fact that Ryan Poles, say what you will about him, last year, he punted on the offensive line. It came back to bite this offense in the ass, right? But to just throw that little bit of shit out there, it's like, okay, all right, I see what's happening with the media now. I see where this is going to go. And the thing that's unfortunate about it is Caleb Williams can fix none of this from the practice field. Ben Johnson can fix none of this criticism that's going to be coming at them up until August on the practice field. There's nothing that you can do to fix that. The only way that they can fix that is getting on the football field. Caleb Williams is going to have to play like we hope that Caleb Williams can play, and this offense is going to have to look better. But to say that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams aren't going to be a good fit for each other, that to me, both these guys, Caleb is too early into his NFL career. Ben Johnson is too much of a coach that has adapted the system to the skill set of his players to say that with any level of confidence. Now, if you wanted to say something like, oh, well, the thing is Caleb Williams hasn't played a lot under center. They're going to force him to play more under center now. That's something Ben Johnson has said. We're going to have to see if Caleb can do that. He hasn't done that a lot in high school. He hasn't done that a lot in college. He hasn't done that a lot in the pros. as we were in the damn shotgun so much last year that it was evident, something we've brought up here. But you know what? That's legitimate criticism. That's a thought-based criticism. At this point, it just seems like it's just mudslinging at this point. And for Mike Tannenbaum, who was a general manager of the New York Jets, come on, my guy. Come on, bro. Really? Really? Not you, right? So, listen, but we all hope that this thing between Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson works out, because that is what you're trying to base this thing off of, and I get it. There's going to be some trepidation around it. I understand that. But then, Emmanuel Acho, this motherfucker, he said this.
But, like, with Caleb, it's too much of this.
Where's his emotions?
Emotionally. It's too much of this. Yeah. He shows it too much. Like, I had no issue when he was crying with his mom in the stands. I had no issue that he was crying. I had an issue that he was that emotional and showing it that much, in the same manner that I'd have an issue if somebody slams their helmet, same way that I'd have an issue if somebody's cursing at somebody post-game. Like, you got to be here with it. And Caleb is too here with it. Now, you might say, Acho, that doesn't matter until you see it on a football field, until Minnesota Vikings. You're in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. You get sacked. And now, because you're feeling sorry for yourself, it goes from 3rd and 15 to 3rd and 21, because you get to delay a game because you don't get back to the huddle against the Detroit Lions, 23-20. You get to delay a game because you're feeling sorry for yourself. Now you got to burn a timeout. Now you have a timeout fiasco at the end of that game. Now your head coach gets fired following the timeout fiasco at the end of that game, until I see you on the bench moping, whining. I don't know another NFL quarterback outside of Kyler Murray who would display that type of body language. Now, shout out to Caleb Williams, and I'm done with it. Shout out to Caleb for identifying he needs to fix these issues. He said that within the last 48 hours. But trust is earned. I can't just give it to him.
That's a good take. I trust him, though. And let me tell you.
Now, anybody who watches this show that he's on enough understands that, come on now. Talk about emotional. Acho is one of the most emotional men about sports, and even the most simplest debates on that show, he gets emotional, he gets loud, and he gets stupidly animated. Like, I'm not going to use the word that I was going to use because I may get taken down from that. But Caleb Williams and his emotionalness in the game is something that he has talked about. He has admitted that, and it is something that a criticism that a lot of Bears fans brought into that with it. You know, even Acho saying, oh, well, I didn't really, blame him for the crying with his mom after that, but like, you need to be centered as an NFL quarterback. When he went into the thing of, well, you got called for a delay of game, because it wasn't just you. We knew that then. It wasn't just because of Caleb. There was a disorganization with the offense overall. And again, this is a narrative that Caleb Williams can do nothing about from the practice field. He has to go out there and prove it on the football field. Now, again, I'm not somebody, you guys know, I have criticism of Caleb Williams all the time. When people were saying Caleb Williams was generational, I said it's going to take some time to get there. His arm strength is great, but he's going to have some things that he needs to work at. I talk about Caleb Williams and his accuracy issues. Everything isn't sunshine and rainbows with Caleb Williams. It's not there yet, right? And for it to get there, he's going to have to put in some work. But to act like the fact that this horribly inequipped offense that we had last year, the terrible coaching staff that we had last year, getting sacked 68 times last year, the fact that he got his ass beat up and he still weathered the storm and throughout all of that, come on, man. Come on. Right? It's just now we see what's going to happen here. This is seriously turning into a trial by fire for everyone and the doubt around the Chicago Bears. And it is what it is. Right now, it's a low-hanging fruit to try to attack Caleb Williams, and especially about that. Now, to say that he needs to be able to be more poised as a quarterback in the NFL, all right, we'll take that. That poise comes with time. That poise comes with execution. That poise comes with confidence in your system and who you're playing with and in your coaching staff. Did you think that Caleb Williams had that last year? Did Caleb Williams legitimately have that last year? Ask yourself that. My thing on it is no, right? But with that said, now we have the right staff in here. Hopefully, we see that. And we have the weapons for Caleb Williams. Now, we see that, right? We have the offensive line as well for Caleb Williams that is going to be able to do a much better job at protecting him than what the last offensive line did. Now, does that mean that does that abstain him from how he needs to grow and develop as a quarterback in the year 2025 of our Lord? No, it does not. Caleb has to get his ass out there. He has to prove these doubters wrong through his play on the football field. That's what this all comes down to, your play, your poise. But to say, did we not see Caleb Williams lead fourth quarter drives that, weren't successful as far as ended up getting the win, but did we not see that at point last year? Does that not take a level of centeredness and leadership to be able to lead and play some of your best football in fourth quarters on drives that were important for us to getting back in those games, guess what? We did see that last year. Now, we need to see more of that throughout a game because if Caleb Williams can find a way to tap into that earlier in the game, we may not be there, which is fine and dandy. But to act like all these things, that they aren't legitimate football conversations to be had about this, the low-hanging fruit of attacking Caleb Williams and now even going after Ben Johnson, all that dumb shit, I'm tired of. I'm tired of the stupidity, what it is. I'm tired of the mainstream media. And again, it has its place. It does. Make no mistake about it. I'm using it now for content, right? But it's the content and the fact of let's have a genuine conversation around it. And I know that that's not necessarily exclusive just to the mainstream media. There are some people even in the comment section of this channel who say dumb shit every single day, right? There's going to be times where I say some dumb shit. Make no mistake about it. Darius damn sure says dumb shit, probably about bi-daily, but, nonetheless. Little shot to my brother Darius there. Yes, there are things that Caleb Williams needs to develop from, and I'm not going to say that. And there are legitimate things that looking at his game as a quarterback, you have to look at and say, if we're going to get to where we need to be, Caleb, you have to be better. That's not a problem. That should never be a problem for anyone. I don't care how head over heels a fan is over Caleb Williams. It should never be a problem to say that for a team that didn't win very many games last year that we need to win more. And to get us to win more, Caleb has to be a big part of that. He has to be. His development has to come. He has to improve in the areas that he had an impact on that held this team back. And some of those was holding on to the ball too long, the accuracy things, the things going down the middle of the field, all those type of things Caleb has to improve on as a quarterback if he wants to be successful in the NFL, period. You want to be great. I say that all the time. I use Caleb words against him. He says he wants to be one of the greatest to ever do this. He wants to eventually be judged by Super Bowls. If you do, the only way you can do that is by getting yourself on the goddamn horse and killing it, bro. Like, that's it. That's what you have to do, right? You have to be the leader of this team. You have to be somebody that we look at, and eventually it has to stop being, oh, well, we got to overcome Caleb's deficit here, and here by doing this. It has to be, let's play to Caleb's strengths. And part of that has to be Caleb Williams. I want to make no mistake about it. This is not a Caleb Williams ever podcast is going to glaze Caleb or any Bears quarterback for that matter. Right now, I'm going to root for my guy. I'm going to look at the strengths and things that he can do and talk about it on both sides. I'm never going to just be completely negative. I'm never going to be just completely positive. It's always going to be somewhere in the middle. And you know where that middle is objectivity. You know what the national media is not having right now is objectivity. They're saying dumb shit, and they're doing it because they know right now the story is, and I said this, go back and look at it. The episode where the article came out about Caleb Williams, what did I say? This is going to be something that starts because now this is where the media has picked their narrative, and that's where it's going to go. And it happens every single time. Anybody who's watched sports media long enough knows that this is where it is right now. Once the media has their angle and in, it's going to continue to be that. It's going to continue to go that way, and it just is what it is. You just got to weather the storm and change the narrative through winning. And that's something that, you know what? Give Caleb Williams another reason to have a chip on his shoulder. Give Ben Johnson another reason to keep motivating his quarterback and to show and prove everybody that this Bears team can finally break the trend and the mode that the Bears organization has been in, and that's we've been losers. We have been losers. So to a degree, I understand it. Again, the Bears are the target, and they should be because we've sucked. We've made nothing but bad mistakes here and there with some good ones overall. Like I said, been way more downs than ups, and it is what it is. But the Bears have to prove it in. I'm not one to shy away from that. The Bears have to go out there and prove that they're different, that this is different, that this is not the same. And we'll see if they can do that. Hopefully they can, because if they can't, this is going to continue to be ugly. So we'll see. And Acho, why don't you shut your fucking ass up? How about that? Like, how about that? I you know what I hate about people, like when they like to talk about things and act like they were the biggest and best competitor in the game of football. Come on, my boy. Let's be clear here. Like, you were good. Make no mistake about it. You were decent. You were real. You were cool. It's great. It's great to see that. It's great to see that, right? For a 6th round pick, you were a pretty damn good 6th round pick. But listen, how many years of that were you on the practice squad? How many teams did you make it to? The Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, right? You were on that season in the offseason and a practice squad member only, right? How many times did that happen out of your career between 2012 and 2015? My boy, shut the fuck up. How about that? Now, before we get out of here, I want to talk about another rumor that's going around, and that's in regards to Tyreek Hill and the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been listed as a candidate to get Tyreek Hill, with the Miami Dolphins looking to figure something out there. Mike Florio discussed the potential suitors for a Tyreek Hill, and they mentioned the Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Texans, the Los Angeles Raiders, and the San Francisco 49ers, and then he went on to mention the Bears as a potential suitor as well. Let me ask you this. What sense does that make for the Chicago Bears? Right, saying this, the Bears would also be an intriguing option, especially with former Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy on the coaching staff. They're currently loaded at receiver. It wouldn't work unless they send DJ Moore to Miami as part of the. It's a long shot for the Bears or any other team, but all it takes is one team to convince itself that Hill can be the difference maker, the guy who can help a team that is close to a mountaintop finish the climb. First of all, you think that the Bears are gonna trade DJ Moore for 31-year-old Tyreek Hill? And make no mistake about it, Tyreek Hill is still a player that is still pretty productive, right? Having his first year last season at 959 yards, that was his first season in almost 6 years not passing the 1,000-yard receiving mark. And so I want to be clear, he's still a productive guy. Even that 959 yards, 6 touchdowns last season receiving. This is a guy that still can be productive. But to trade DJ Moore for that, unless you think that Rome Odunze is the next coming of a god, like Randy Moss, like what are we talking about here? Like, and this is the part of the offseason where, if you can't tell already, the Acho shit and everything else got me pissed off. But to keep pushing dumbass narratives from the mainstream, come on, bro. Come on. No. Tyreek Hill makes no sense for where the Bears are right now. Makes no sense for what they have to give up to get him. It makes no sense for the cap sheet. It makes no sense at all for a wide receiver core that's stacked, right? For DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, and what he's going to hopefully be able to do his rookie year. You got Zacchaeus Olamide here. Like, what the fuck do we need Tyreek Hill for if we have to give up somebody like a DJ Moore to get it done? Now, unless the Bears are completely out on DJ Moore, like some Bears fans like to talk about him being with his body language and everything else, let's be fucking real for once. Why is it that, like, you know what? I realize when I need to take a step back. Because people are starting to piss me the fuck off. This news, on top of everything else, got me pissed the hell off. So you know what I'm going to say here? Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins makes more sense. Trading for Trey Hendrickson makes more sense for the Chicago Bears. Right? These are moves that make sense. These are moves that when they're talked about, it makes a lot of sense because where the Bears are at and what they still need for this offense to hit the best version of itself, all that makes sense. But this is stupid. This is dumb. And Mike Florio is somebody that I actually respect, the way he talks about football and all those other things. I know he is connected to a degree. But, hey, this part of the offseason, I need the mainstream media to just sit their ass down. Let us that actually cover the day-to-day with the team, we got it covered. You guys can come back when we get closer to the start of the preseason. You can start talking about the team when there's some footage for you to talk about because y'all just sounding stupid right now. You're sounding stupid and dumb, and I'm tired of the dumb shit around my football team. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. That's the episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know it's not your normal Sunday live stream. We all got stuff going on today, but I wanted to make sure you guys still got your daily episode out. So thank you guys for tuning in. I apologize that I'm a little bit grumpy gills today because you know what? I'm tired of stupid shit. That just is what it is. I'm tired of it. But hey, that comes with the job. That's part of the job that I accepted in doing this, and I'm going to keep doing this at the level that we're doing it. So love you guys. Thank you guys for being amazing. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is more importantly thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like we like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.